Oh yeah, baby. You know what time it is. It's time for Q102's Tiny Room Concerts. Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up? I'm Leslie, and this is Q102's Tiny Room Concert Series, and I'm excited because I've got the funeral portrait with me today.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Lee.
And I'm Caleb.
I'm so glad that you guys are here today. Thank you for coming in so early in the morning.
Oh, thank you.
I know. You guys came from Kansas City last night, right?
Yeah.
So how was that show? This was with Ice Nine Kills, right?
Yes, that was crazy. Those shows, it's cool because like this tour, it's like 5 tours in one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So we got us started off doing a few shows with The Used. Then we did some shows with Under Oath. And then the Ice Nine Kills date started. But all while at the same time we have like headlining shows and like co-headlining shows along the way too. So it's been like non-stop, just like crazy of just being like, okay, so wait, what show is today? You know, so it's been wild.
So you have to have a little sheet that says what city you're in.
We do. We've got this. I started like because you know on like the Notes app on your phone you can do like a group now, and so I started that. And even like our managers in there, like everyone's in there. And so anytime there's any new information or doing like a radio show or something like that, it gets put in that. And that way everyone can be like, okay, who's the today's show? Or where are we doing this? Or merch pickup? Or, oh, we got to go to Guitar Center here. Or we got to do that, you know, so it gets put in there. And that has, I think, saved all of our lives this tour.
Absolutely. It's actually really sick. Like throwing in things like, oh, there's no real change this day, so we need to make sure that we're, you know, yada, yada, whatever. It's sick, actually.
Yeah, it's nice to have everything all combined in a little planner so you know exactly what you're doing. Because without it, you guys would be lost. I'd be lost without my daily planner.
Yeah. It's been crazy because, again, we've done some fly shows. We just flew all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona from Atlanta. But the show the night before was in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh my God.
So it was literally like Greensboro, North Carolina to Atlanta, fly from Atlanta, all the way to Arizona. And then we drove cars from Arizona to Vegas, did another show in Vegas, and then flew from Vegas the next morning after 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
maybe even that.
I woke up at 2:30.
There we go. So 2 hours then of sleep, and then flew from Vegas to LAX, got on another flight from LAX to Kansas City. Yeah, after a 2-hour layover too. So yeah, so it's been a little crazy.
But you wouldn't have it any other way.
No, and that's the thing too. Is I think we all talk about this. Is like if you would have asked us, like, because you know this band's been going for like 10 years. This lineup started in what 2019, 2020, that kind of thing. And if you would have asked us where we thought we would be in 2025, I think everyone would be begging and begging and begging to do this. You know, this is what we've been working for forever.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that because the first time I saw you guys was in 2016.
Oh my God.
You guys were here in Springfield and you were with Islander. So you guys were a baby band.
So yeah, that was a completely different lineup too.
100% different.
Yeah, besides me. So it's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so you guys are here now back in town after 9 years. Suffocate City went to #1.
Yes.
You have a song right now, Holy Water, in the top 10.
Yes.
I mean, you kind of just touched on it a little bit. How do you feel about your success right now?
To be honest, it's kind of crazy to even think about. You know, like I think for us, we never started making music to do any of this, right? Like I think you start.
We all come from like DIY bands and like hardcore bands and metalcore bands and stuff, and when we were all starting, like making money or success or doing 4,000 cap tours or arena tours or whatever, it wasn't really even on the docket.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Making
like
music with your friends.
Well, it was just like, oh, it'd be cool if like I could afford to eat today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was never like a real viable option. We loved it, you know.
Do you remember when I was giving you guys $10 a day, and that was the payment? That was what it was. Literally like, okay, guys.
Well, back then, McDonald's still had dollar menus, so it wasn't the worst.
It wasn't the worst, you're right. But even then, like,
worse,
and I think that's it, right? It's like even thinking about coming to this area with Islander, right? Like, I remember that show, like, it was a great show. It was fun. But, like, it's crazy to think now we're coming back and we're headlining and we have a #1, and another one in top 10. And it's like, what stuff like that does, and it just opens so many doors, and we played this area, we literally played this venue, January?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah, and it was like packed out, and it was crazy because that was one of those moments of being like,
yeah, that was one of the first headliners we did where I was like,
oh my gosh, there's like people here,
This is real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yes, well that's
because we used to headline to like
bands.
10
Yeah.
other bands,
bands.
other bands. So it's like, anytime we do headliners and like, we just played a show in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, right, which was the biggest headliner we've ever done outside of Atlanta.
How many
right?
people?
It was like 500.
It's like 500.
Which isn't crazy, but for us, when you're used to headlining to bands, I remember we were sitting there and like, we're in this big room, and like, there's people all in it, and they're packed. It's packed out.
It was literally like almost sold out. It was literally like 50 tickets.
I turned to Lee and I was like, when does the headliner show up?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like.
So it's very surreal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's awesome. I'm so stoked for you guys. To see you guys as a baby band back in 2016 and to see where you are now, dude.
Thank you.
Seriously, it's crazy. It's
Thank
so cool. One thing that I've kind of noticed, okay, we're Facebook friends. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay.
One thing that I'm noticing on Facebook is how you deal with haters. Dude, I love it.
I love that. Well, so
I love it. You embrace it.
I do. Well, because I think for many a years, I let it get to me, right? I let it just be like, oh, that sucks, or whatever, or not talk about it or whatever. But now it's like, I don't know. I think for me, it's kind of part of being who we are, being a little sassy, having fun with it. And I think what it does is it makes people, I like rallying people up, right? Like I like getting people behind us, right? And I think people like that. I think they want.
People love an underdog. They love someone
Oh, yeah.
who is, not, things aren't handed to them. They love someone who's hated, you know what I mean? And like, I think that taking like the people that give us trouble for things, or or have whatever normally insane comment about whatever thing, you know what I mean? It's like, where do you even pull this from? It's people like to see us like not be bothered by it,
or make
or flip into something good.
And I think that's what it is, right? Because like the Zesty one, right? Because that was kind of the first one that we really did, right?
Yeah.
Was the Zesty one.
That was pretty funny, honestly. He
It
called
was.
you Zesty.
Yes, which is like funny, and we know what he means. He's literally, and it's one of those things that like, I get it that what our stage show is, and maybe even the music or whatever, isn't for everyone. And I understand that, but. And especially on a tour with Five Finger Death Punch and Manson and Slaughter to Prevail, we are the biggest odd man out in the room,
Yeah, how did that go for you?
It was insane. Yeah. That was insane. That changed our lives.
Smashed it,
really.
actually.
And especially, again, that's how we can go back to Pennsylvania and play to 500 people now. You know what I mean?
The Hershey. So many of those
Yeah.
people were at the Hershey show.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the same thing, the other night when we did a last minute show in Vegas. I'm saying a week in advance, okay? And we did like
What was it, like
250. I think they sold 250 tickets. And it's like a week we got 250 people in this room. That's because we played there on Five Finger, and
They know you now.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that I'm not trying to win over 10,000 people. That's impossible, right? Because half of those people are they're not even in their seats, or they're in their seats eating their hot dog, right? When you do these arena tours and you're the opening band. But for me, taking something like the Zesty comment, and then we put it on a shirt, right? And then we sold it for charity, and like we raised literally like, it was like $12,000, $13,000 for charity. And it was like one of those things, we love doing that because, again, it's just funny, but
It's like you want to be a jerk, but like to flip around your intention and make it a good thing, it's just like the final kind of like, I don't care.
Do you think those people are like, well, those assholes, they're, just being salty about it?
I don't know. Bitter, angry people normally don't want to admit that they were wrong. So probably not. I couldn't imagine that they would be like, oh, they really got me. I don't really see.
That would be awesome if they did.
I don't really see that being the case.
But one of the newer comments, and this is fantastic. You were called a Pink Pony Club ass band.
yes, that was a funny one.
That is a good one, and it's even funnier because this is Chaperone's hometown.
Oh, Yes, this
Yeah.
is. I totally
Please,
forget about
Pink
that.
Pony, ask your band. Tonight.
Yes.
Big
Oh,
fan.
yes.
Big fans.
Oh, we are. So that's so funny. I totally forgot she's from here. So that's. I think that comment, you know,
pride.
it was like, hey, we did our job then, I
Yeah.
guess, you know, and like, I think stuff like that is really funny, you know, because like, I don't know, we just do us, you know, and like we've always tried to put on a good show, but I think since, I don't know, we kind of had this moment, I think we all kind of sat down and we were like, listen, we're just going to do us. And we're going to do what we do best, and that is putting on a show, you know? And if we sound good doing it, that's a bonus.
I think the best advice for any musician or artist that's like trying to come up is just to like really find out like what you are and be real to that, because like anyone that I think this band started working when we really just started being ourselves. I think that other bands start working when they just are themselves, and there's a lot of different versions of that. You know what I mean? Like you know, we'll never be Loathe.
No.
But that's not me. Like, you know what I mean?
Or
But that's them.
Think about like Sleep Token, right? Like we'll never be Sleep Token.
That's them.
That's them.
But that's them
exactly.
doing them and being real and being 100% what they are.
And
you know?
I think that they're the only ones that could do them like that.
Yeah.
But everyone is like you can like only you can do you.
Yeah.
You know, and so like
don't get me
embracing
wrong,
that,
you can
know?
have influences, right? And you could be like, oh, I'm really influenced by this band, this band, this band, right? And you can make that be a thing. But all of those bands are the same deal. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, everybody was influenced by somebody.
Yes.
At some point, yeah.
I think everyone has a unique amalgamation of taste. You know what I mean? Like as much as you might have overlap with other people, there's always a couple specific things that, you know, like I think, you know, only you like this exact spectrum of these things.
Or
you know what
that
I mean?
one part of that one song that
and
really
putting that all into one place is what's going to make like a unique new thing, you know? And so like that's like I think where we come from like a creative point, from a band perspective, from like a branding perspective, from a musical perspective. It's just all like, what do we like
as a collective,
and just
this person brings this,
that, you know?
this person brings this person. 'Cause this is true. Like we are still a band. You know, I know nowadays there's a lot of solo bands out there where it's just like one person that does everything. And don't get me wrong, am I the face? I guess, you know, do I do most of the interviews? Yes, but it's one of those things that it's like, if I didn't have Caleb, half this stuff wouldn't happen. And if I didn't have Cody, half this stuff wouldn't happen. And if I didn't have Rob, our bassist, right, half this stuff wouldn't happen. If I didn't have Homer, our drummer, half this stuff wouldn't happen. So
That's 5 halves.
it is 5 halves. But you know what I mean. In what they do, right? So in what they do, they all are like my right-hand man in what they all do. And this band wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't these 5 guys.
Yeah. That's awesome. I want to talk about mental health just a little bit. So these haters, despite their best efforts to get under your skin, do you take like their hate and do you use it to fuel your fire, basically?
I think a little bit, right? Because sometimes, like when we toured with that Five Finger Manson tour, you know, we had the one Manson show. The one with the guy flicked us off standing backwards.
Oh, that was the first one.
Bald
The
head
film
guy.
at the film
Yeah, there was this bald headed guy that would just like first song in turns around, okay, and it just like flicks us off, right? The whole set, and he's bald, so the lights are just shining right off his head. You know what I mean? So I can see him, and I just remember during the last song, like right before we do this like little interlude. It's about a minute, 30 seconds, depending on the set length, and that's when I go off. You know, I went off on the guy, and the crowd loved it. They fed into it. I was like, everyone flicked this guy. The whole crowd, even his friend.
Especially Manson fans.
See, exactly. That's it too. I knew that Manson fans also, because that's what he used to do. You know, like I grew up going to see him and stuff, and I saw him do something like that at the Tabernacle.
They like the irreverence. You know what I mean? That's what they want. You know, I think a lot of fans want that. They want that, like, I don't give a fuck that I'm at a show right now. You know?
Yeah.
So does stuff like that just like weigh on you sometimes?
You know, it used to, but not anymore because I'm busy. I'm too busy for that. Like, and that's true.
I think as the band grows and as things happen, you get this like sense of validation. You know what I mean? Where like when you're a small band, you have haters. You're like, oh man, is this not working? You know what I mean? But now it's like very clearly it's working. So if you don't like it, like, it's not my problem.
Yeah,
You know,
your opinion doesn't matter.
And
Now-
not just
now,
that,
like-
not everybody's going to
that's what I mean,
like
like,
the
I
same
don't like
thing,
this.
man. Like, I mean, we sometimes are certified haters in ourselves, you know, like
absolutely am a
like there's
certified
certain not really, like certain people or bands or whatever that we're just like, that's just not for us, right? Now, is it for other people? That's
Sure.
that's what we say, right? Sometimes we're like, well, that's just not meant for me, you know?
Yeah.
But is it cool? Sure, you know, or whatever. But I think for me, I just don't let it get there anymore because, again, I don't have time for that. I don't have space in my brain to have moments of doubt because one dude at one concert 1 year ago flicked me off or said some bad thing. And it's like, you know, or someone will say something about my vibrato or
Did you
something.
get punched in the eye one time? Or was that an accident?
No, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
Was that a fan?
It
Or
was
somebody in the
crazy.
crowd?
So it was early on. It was probably about 9 years ago. We were playing a show in Brunswick, Georgia, and there was this guy just like moshing, you know, like hate moshing, so like punching people and stuff.
Just
and
going real hard.
yeah, going too hard. And at the time there was a bunch of like younger fans up front, and like he was being just
A jerk.
a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. And I said something to him, and he didn't like that. And he just comes up and he just whacks me right in the face, you know? And I was just like, that was crazy. That was a crazy moment, you know?
I had this picture of him popped in my head of you with this big black
It
eye.
was,
Yeah,
bro.
you're
And I,
decked.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it didn't end well for him, but, you know,
of course.
I will be honest. But, like, that, I was just like, what is going on? Like that, but stuff like that, right? I think if younger me dealt with some of the hate that we get, I wouldn't be okay, right? There's a lot during. I'm very thankful for COVID, for like the lockdown or being separated from normal life, because I was able to actually sit and really focus on myself, and I've been better, you know, about handling situations or whatever it is, you know, and getting better even more. I think it's a growing process. We're always growing, and I think for me, like, I don't know, and I'll never start a fight, right? I'll never pick a fight, right? I'll never even, or like fans or stuff like that, right? And if I ever comment on something and being like, man, you're insane, like, what are you even saying? You know, like, that's all I'll be like, and then now we have these people that back us up too, which is kind of cool, you know. It's we've created this like family, and that's what we've been working towards.
That's awesome. That is so good. I like to hear that you guys don't have time for the haters and all that stuff.
No.
You don't have time to be, you know, sad and whatever. But, you know, I've been pretty open with my mental health struggles on air. I try to be, at least. I know
Yeah.
it's hard to talk about.
It
really
is. Well, here's the deal: is people, but now I like to talk about it because I am human. I am just like every single other person. I just get to hold a microphone on stage.
Yeah.
Sometimes in front of 150 people to 17,000 people, you know what I mean, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, you know? So it's like, it just depends, right? But to me, the only difference is, again, I'm holding that microphone.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, sitting at a desk all day typing your life away. I'm just like you. I deal with the same stuff, and I like people to know that.
What do you do when you ever have like a bad mental health day on tour? How do you deal with that?
That's great. I try and stay extremely busy. So I'll be like, because it's hard. The worst is the off days. I don't do well with off days, no show days, right? Like coming up, we've got like 4 off days in a row, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, you know what I mean? Because what it does is it makes, when we are go, 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 I think that's the type of person I am. When I go home, I go to Disney World instantly or something like that because I'm still go, go, go. I still want to go, 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 go. That's my vacations are go, go, goes. I don't like to rest. It's just not who I am.
I'm
Because
the
when
same
I
way.
do,
I have to be doing something.
it keeps you know, I'm just not good at that. Some of these guys love that though. Some of these guys love to just do nothing. And that's their rest. For me, my rest is still going, but in a different way,
Yeah,
right?
I keep telling myself it's like you do have to let your body rest.
Yes. Well,
But
and I
it's
do when I
hard.
sleep,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
it. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what it is I, you know, I think for me, I'm really good at sleeping for like 5 hours a day.
Are we the same person?
I think so.
I do 5 hours too.
I know 5 hours, and I'm good. And I can just keep going. And I think what it is, you know, I know these guys, and that's the thing is, after being in a band with them for so long, I know what these guys need, right? And if one of them is like, "Hey, we've got like 4 off days coming up. I'm gonna fly home and be with my family, or I'm gonna go do this for like 4 days. Is that cool? Yeah, go do your thing, you know, or whatever it is, you know." And I think that's also what has kind of kept us sane, right? And especially a crazy schedule as what we're having and what is keeping having is it's doing whatever's best for you to keep you okay out here, right? And so a bad day for me, I don't know, I just try and just keep on the grind, you know. That's the days that I double down on the Instagram posts or whatever, you know, catch up on everything, you know. And that's, you know, I think, you know, I know like Cody, he loves his relaxation time is sitting in his bunk playing his vintage video games. You know, I'll say vintage video games because right now it's a Nintendo DS and the PSP, right? But I've also seen him have these like little miniature guys like this big.
Yeah,
so
who's your little? Yeah, who's
It's a Game Boy Micro.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
his thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Oh my god.
They made it right when the DS launched in 2005, but it flopped because the DS came out.
I wonder why.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's funny they have a PSP. I haven't like seen those in forever.
Yeah.
He's in the market for a Vita.
Yeah.
What's that?
It was like the thing after,
It's
right?
basically like a mini PlayStation.
Oh.
Like it plays like it doesn't.
Okay.
It's like PSP has PSP games. The Vita just plays PlayStation games.
It's like a
but
cool
like
thing.
small.
Yeah.
My boyfriend has a what does he call it? The analog pocket.
Okay.
Oh, it's probably like an emulator.
An emulator thing,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So he talks about all this stuff, and it's over my head. 'cause
Oh, yeah.
I was OG Game Boy, and that was it.
Okay.
So we are in our tiny room. You guys gonna play a song for us today?
Let's
I would
do
love
it.
to.
All right, what song are we gonna do?
Holy water.
Let's do Holy Water.
Holy Water. All right,
Yes.
guys. It's a funeral portrait. It's Holy Water.
On 4.
I traded my name to indulge a snake, so I ran free and broke a leg, but I felt free enough to rule the world. One time, but I sleep in a bag of bones. So mama don't think I'm coming home, 'cause I woke up so I could rule the world. One time, bow down to the church in the center with the song stuck in your head. They're holding your holy water now. I'm the priest in the prayer. I'm like a savior, dressed like I'm holding your holy water. Treated my soul to a wealthy man, so I don't have to work again. He said, what's my price to rule the world? One time, bow down to the church in the center with the song stuck in your head. They're holding your holy water now. I'm the priest in the prayer. I'm like a savior, dressed like I'm holding your holy water. Soon the newest muse. We roll the dice for sacrifice tonight. You, the now and the truth. We roll the dice for sacrifice tonight. I traded my name to indulge a snake, so I ran free and broke a leg, but I felt free enough to rule the world. One time, Bow down to the church in the center with the song stuck in your head. They're holding your holy water now. I'm a priest in the prayer. I'm like a savior, dressed like I'm holding your holy water.
All right, and we're back. This is Q102's Tiny Room Concert Series with the Funeral Portrait. I am seriously so stoked that you guys are here tonight. So let's talk about the show tonight at the Riff. You guys have been here, what, twice now in the past couple months?
Yeah. Which is crazy to think about.
I know when I heard you guys are coming back, I'm like, again?
Yeah.
But that's all right, though. That's cool.
It is. I think for us, I will say I don't think tonight's show is going to be as big as the first night that we came through, because I think it's been a while since we've been here before, right?
Yeah,
it was a while. So I think it was one of those things that it's kind of crazy, because for us, again, like some of these shows were booked kind of last minute and stuff like that, because like I said, it's 5 tours in one. So for us, we're just like, oh, okay, I guess we could play here, but we can't play here because the radius clause, but we can play here. It's like, I give it to our agent to be real that he pulled this off, because
I think you guys are going to have a pretty decent crowd tonight.
Heck yes.
Mainly, because you guys, right? But you got the Rasmus.
Yes, we do.
On the bill. And
Yes.
I first heard about them in the early 2000s. So
Same.
you're going to have the OGs.
Yes.
Some real OGs
It's their
there
first
tonight.
tour in U.S. tour in 16 years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm there, dude. I'm
Yes.
so there for that. But how'd you get hooked up with them?
So they signed to Better Noise, the label that we're on.
label names.
Yes, exactly. So they signed about maybe like a year ago or something, and it's been one of those things that I remember them from the early 2000s. You know what I mean? And then they just recently were on Eurovision.
Okay.
So, and they did pretty high up.
Yeah,
I think they were like top 5 or something like that. So. That was like 2-3 years ago. So they're having this like resurgence.
Yeah, second coming of the Rasmus.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's pretty cool.
It's really exciting.
And so they, it's kind of funny because it's just been one of those things that they were like, hey, we're doing a tour in Europe at the end of the year. It's doing like 2,000 to like 5,000 cap venues or whatever. And like, we want you guys to be like direct support on it. And we were like, let's do it. We've never been to Europe before.
Oh, you haven't?
No. So we were like,
I thought you
let's.
guys already been there.
No, we wish. So we
Okay.
are at the end of this tour. We're going to Download Fest in the UK.
I'm going to touch on that here in a little bit, but
I love that.
That is an insane
Yeah.
event. That's awesome.
So we're doing November, December with them over in Europe, and that's going to
So
be.
it was kind of a trade. It's like, well, you're taking us out over there, so we'll take you out whenever
Yeah.
we're these
That's cool.
headliners.
And it's
we'll
cool
take you out
because
here,
it's like it was last minute. I wasn't expecting them
to agree.
to
yeah.
agree to it, but I think for us it was just like, let's do it. So
I mean, why not?
yes,
You got nothing to lose.
I know. So hopefully next time we can make it not last minute.
Yeah.
when they
Be
come
more
over.
of a plan.
Yes.
But sometimes last minute things are the most fun. The
Yes.
better things.
Yes.
When you're flying just by the seat of your pants and just going for it.
That's us this year in general.
So, one thing I've noticed about you guys is that you call your songs hymns, your concerts are devotionals. Are we Catholic or something?
Yeah, I was Catholic, K through 8.
Oh,
My whole
yeah.
family's super Catholic. Yeah,
Okay.
not anymore.
So yeah, and I think for us it's part of the brand. It's part of the
Yeah,
lore.
It's about it's just about making it different and fun and like
Cool.
interactive in a way and making people feel. I think the statement so often is like escapism, and when you build like a world around it that's like different, it helps people kind of like dig in and bite into something that's not just like guys playing in a band, because I think there is a big world of guys playing in a band that people really like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so there's no tea or shade on that, but like.
Again, it's not for us.
But we're not that. You know what I mean?
No.
We're not guys in a band. We all grew up loving these like larger than life, really like artistic theatrical projects,
love that.
and so like that's just
or even the
something that
more modern stuff too.
or the more modern stuff,
like-
exactly. Well, I mean, that's what, like we all grew up liking it, and then we stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when I was a kid, I loved My Chemical Romance and Coheed and Cambria and like, you know, all these kind of things. And now I love Sleep Token and Bad Omens and like these bands that like have these really large theatrical productions and just ideas in their music, and I think that's cool.
It seems like nowadays a lot of bands are kind of going more towards the theatrics because I think a lot of people just kind of want to see what's next.
Well, I think for me, if I'm going to go pay money to go to a show, I want it to be a show.
Yeah.
You know, like really, right?
Yeah.
And even those bands growing up that were just dudes in a band, they still understood that, and they still put on a show,
Yeah.
right?
They're still at least energetic.
Yes, or they spent money on production, or they had this or that, something different, right? Or, you know, and again, growing up, some of my favorite bands, you know, did that. Even if, like I said, was just 5 guys up on stage in shorts, it didn't matter because they still understood production. They still understood a show. So they do the interludes and the this and the that. And that's why, you know, calling our shows devotion ceremonies and the hymns and the that, it brings it together. You know, we have this lore. We have these icons that represent all the songs, you know, or some of the songs, you know, and that's all so important to us, you know, that it's building this world. I mean, we literally have a graphic novel coming out.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's super awesome.
Yes.
That's so cool. And I saw that there was a contest.
Yes.
So if you're watching now, you can enter the contest until when? May
28th, I think it is. Yes.
So that's a whole design contest.
Yes.
And that is so cool because there's so many artists out there
Yes.
who don't know how to have their stuff seen.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Well, and that
So
was
it's
part of it, right? Like, 'cause I think for us, we get hit all the time with fans being like, not just fan art, but being like, hey, can I design something for you guys? Can I design something for you guys?
like
And I'm-
literally every single day.
Yes.
I mean, I think we attract that kind of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like our brand and our image is so artistic, and so like artists are drawn to it. So we get fan art incessantly,
Yeah.
constantly. And I'm not complaining about it. It's sick. You know, I mean, it's cool to see. So like when we announced this competition, what's the word I'm looking for?
Contest,
Thank
yeah.
you. When we announced the contest, I was so stoked because I know that we have so many like outrageously talented artists in our fan base who would like absolutely body it. You know what I mean? I'm if anything, I'm worried about picking one.
That's gonna be the hardest
well,
one.
so thankfully I think what it is we pick the top 4
And then
the fans vote
Yeah.
who it actually is. And it's really cool because it's going to be, from what I remember, I think it's the one that's going to be at San Diego Comic-Con too. So it's going to be like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Fantastic.
And so it's like a big deal. I mean, this is, and we're paying them too, which is a cool thing because I think a lot of
Right, it's not
people,
just like free
it's
labor,
not just free
yeah.
labor either. You know, they're going to get like, I think they get 20 copies and they get, and they're actually it's commission, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So.
That is so cool. I love it. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the tours that you've done. You mentioned that you were with Under Oath and the Used. So Baby Band back in 2016.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Especially like,
together?
I mean, here's the deal: is I grew up going and seeing both of those bands. I know Cody, absolutely the same kind of deal there too. I think both of those bands have such a big influence on this band that it was absolutely insane. You know, for us, we have a song with Bert from the Used on our record, right? Which is crazy already. But the idea of playing shows with them and them being super cool to us and just very welcoming and everything.
Definitely a bucket list sort of situation.
So do you feel it's kind of like a full circle? sort of thing?
1,000,000%.
So like the Used is like probably like a top 3 band for me, like on the planet kind of deal. And so I had a lot of like emotional moments, especially playing the tour with their records. So we played with them 3 times, and it was their first 3 records, right? So, like, and those albums like defined me for so long. Like it's just something that I revisited over and over and over. I still continue to revisit. And, like,
Did you have moments where you're like, okay, don't do this in front of Bert. Don't embarrass yourself in front of Bert.
No, no,
That's
you know,
cool.
no, because just like the more I almost speak for everyone, but the more I do this, and you meet these like rock star dudes, like they're just
like,
dudes,
yeah,
man.
just like you.
They do the same stuff that I do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
I
they all
think-
have to get on a plane at 3 a.m. for some festival. You know, they all have to tour
Yeah.
for whatever. They all have to play the show. You know, they all have to do it, and they all get it. You know
It
what I
is
mean?
weird though. You do kind of touch on something with that of like, what do you do in front of these kind of guys? Because I did think of that, right? Like being like, I'm about to meet Burt McCracken. Like, I've never, here's the deal is, you know, I know kids are kind of spoiled nowadays, I'm going to say it, because VIP packages weren't a thing when we were growing up.
no.
So, like, the idea of meeting Burt from the U's, you'd have to wait outside of their bus
And hope that
for
they
100
come out.
hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hope that they didn't just rush as soon as they were done right to the bus, you know? And nowadays, you just pay the extra money and you can meet them, right?
Yeah.
I never got to meet Burt, right? Like I've had posters of him up on my wall, you know, and stuff like that.
I have a
So
signed poster from like 2011 or something like that in my house still.
yeah, and that's so cool though, you know, and I think for us it is these full circle moments of feeling like, wow, this is cool, but also like we belong here.
Yeah.
We do.
Well, that was kind of what I'm talking about. When we did the Lives for the Liars Day, which was the first day we did with them, and it's also maybe one of my favorite records by them. I was like, we'd play the show, and the show went great, and it was sick. And then I was like up on the balcony watching the set, and I was like, and all these songs I just know, you know, I just know every beat to everything, you know, and I'm like, I deserve to be here, you know what I mean? And we all deserve to be here, we all work to be here, and this was like such a formative album for me, and getting to be a part of this, and getting to like have it connected in this way when there's other bands that like could have had this slot that like it would have made sense for too or whatever, but it wouldn't have meant the same thing, you know what I mean? Because like, as much, you know, I mean, sure, everyone likes stuff, you know what I mean? But like in my head, I'm like, this is like one of the most important things in the world to me, you know what I mean? Getting to like have this
full circle moment.
circle
Like,
connection
yeah.
moment is so validating to all the work that like personally that I've put in my life. I'm sure that all of us have, you know what I mean? It was just such a cool moment.
Yeah, you guys are definitely putting in the work because it's showing. You guys are on the fast track.
Yeah.
After I heard that you were on the Manson and Five Finger tour, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
They're just only going to go up from here. Because like now you're on major festivals. You got what, Louder Than Life, Upheaval, Rocklahoma, Download.
Yes.
When in England, that's been around forever.
Yes.
I remember it was called like what, Castle Donington back in the 80s. I was watching
wow.
MTV, Headbangers Ball, and they
Oh,
were talking
wow.
about like all the bands going to Castle Donington in Europe, and it was
That's
a
sick.
massive festival, but they changed it to I think.
I never knew that.
didn't know that.
I never knew that. Thanks for the.
I'm gonna
that's
double check that,
sick.
but I'm pretty sure that's what
okay,
it
that's
was.
sick though.
Yeah, so that festival's been around since forever.
I know it has.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe that's when like Live Nation took over then or something. But
Probably.
Download, it was one of these things. So like we got asked to do it back in like November, and we were like, all right, boys, make sure your
Pull up your
passports
pants,
are
yeah.
good. Like, let's go, you know? And it's been cool because like it's been a big issue, honestly, getting it together to go over there for it, because originally we were supposed to do some more shows around it, but then we got this tour, right? And then so we had to cancel that, and it was just like this whole thing of just being like, okay, are we still gonna go? We're still gonna go. And then we were like, you know what? We just need to do it and go there and make the best of it, you know? And then we're going there, and it's gonna be
gonna happen.
crazy.
Yeah, like the day that you're on, playing with Cradle of Filth.
I know.
Sorry, that blew my mind when I saw it.
I know. Well,
That's
like for us,
insane.
it's like, and that's the day that like Sleep Token
Yeah.
is headlining,
Yeah.
and that was a big deal when that
When that
got
got
announced
announced,
because
yeah, it
people
was
were like,
huge.
they're not as big as Green Day,
They're
and
not
I'm
a
like,
legacy act. I'm like, are they?
are you sure? They are instantly a legacy act. You
Yeah,
know, I
exactly.
think that band is, they just have that magical.
I mean, it's just the word on everyone's lips. You know, I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about them.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of bands we're not talking about right now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of bands. But yeah, so I think you guys are on the right path. You guys are getting there, and you've got a deluxe version of your album coming out soon.
Yes.
Real soon, right? Like
June
next-
13th.
Yeah, it's like during download, I think.
Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
The day we
yeah,
play
day
download.
we play download, I believe it is, that
The day
comes
before.
out. Yeah. And it's like, for us, it's cool because again, this record came out back in September, right? And we, to be honest, never thought it was going to ever come out.
Yeah,
there was just so much because of COVID, and then signing to a label, and like there was just all this stuff that happened, and we also revisited that record like 3 times. You know, like there's like 3 different versions of that record, different mixes, different everything, because every time that like it just was like it's not done or it's not ready, or finally at the end, you know, there was like an A&R change at our label, and went to this girl Lexi, and she is one of the biggest believers in our band, and she was like, do what you guys want to do. What do you guys want to do? So we brought back songs that just Cody and I worked on together, back in 2020, with the other guys before Caleb was even involved, right? Because we were like, Hearst for Two has to make it. It's one of everybody's favorites, Hearst for Two has to make it. And then it was like we had Caleb, and Caleb was like, hey, I have the song You're So Ugly When You Cry, and it was like, okay, well, let's add that in, So it's been these moments of like, okay, now, and then with this deluxe, it was kind of the same thing. She was like, instead of just using these B-sides, why don't you guys just go write more songs that like are what the Funeral Portrait really is? And then that's where Skinny Lies came from, the song that we just released, and now it's literally instantly in our like top 5 on Spotify. Like people are digging it, and it's like, and that was like a cold drop. It was like we didn't even do any promotion, and it's like, and that's on the deluxe, and there's like nothing really. We aren't doing much about it, which is great because it's cool to know that it's actually working. What we're doing is actually working. And this deluxe edition, there's cool different versions. There's a live version of Suffocate City. There's an alternative version of Stay Weird. We've got a demo of our song Alien on there, and that was something that we wanted to do. We didn't want to just give you like one B-side and like an acoustic song.
I think to us, B-sides are B-sides for a reason.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to elevate the listening experience, like I don't really care.
Like, why do I want to release it?
Yeah,
like,
why
it didn't make it on the album for a reason.
Yeah.
So like, I don't care.
I think there's
there's one B-side,
real B-side, and it's Lost Boy.
Yeah. But to be fair, we did want that one on
the record.
It just would have made it too long.
Yes, the label was literally the issue was we would have to, for vinyl, would have to be a double LP if we added one more song. And so we were like, and they were just like, do you know how much more expensive that gets? They're like, let's just do this. And which is fine because then eventually we do the deluxe that is a double LP.
And we put it on,
So when you have extras, you could save that for another deluxe release further down the road, like some of these other bands have done.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that's what we've talked about too, is it's like, the 10-year anniversary of Greatness of Suffocate City.
Deluxe 2.
Deluxe 2,
Remastered.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you can have your library of stuff and then just save it and just pull it out when nobody's expecting.
Yep, from the vault.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into another song. What are you gonna play for us today?
Suffocate City.
All right, the number 1.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. It's the Q102 Tiny Room Concerts with Funeral Portrait.
Graduated with the fever, so full of confidence and ready to achieve. But it's all just a fallacy. You're 7 years a true believer. You wake up choking with the pillow on your face. Every plan made a race. Now we're never getting out, never getting out of here. They say just settle down. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. We're never getting out, never getting out of here. They say just settle down. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. Think you've had enough, but boy, there's just a half of it. That's when they pull the plug. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. Negotiated like a crisis. You come out swinging with the list of your demands, but they're already making plans. Don't get too high and mighty for your britches, or you might end up in stitches. They're out there bound of flesh. Feel the ants round your neck, and we're never getting out, never getting out of here. They say just settle down. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. They give out enough, but boy, there's just a half of it. That's when they pull the plug. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. Never thought it would end this way. Told myself I could finally break the cycle of this cage. but there's no escape. And we're never getting out, never getting out of here. They say just settle down, you're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City. You think you've had enough, but boy, this just the half of it. That's when they pull the plug. You're never getting out of this place. Welcome to Suffocate City.